What do you want people to know behind the scenes about your client and what goes on?
Number one, like I said, we protect the Constitution and we sleep just fine. Number two, we wear a lot of different hats. You know, prosecutors seek justice for victims, enforce the law. We become addictionologists, mental health experts, you know, family unifiers. So we're doing all that. And what you see on TV with the cross-examination and all the fun and that's the fun stuff. I think people think that the accused is like running the show. No, we're running the show. The accused makes two decisions. One is whether or not to go to trial. The other one is whether or not to take the stand.
What are investigators likely looking for in these phone messages?
They could be looking for everything that Alec Baldwin denied in that interview. The bigger question, Anderson, is why they took so long to get the warrant, because now they've given him the opportunity to potentially delete some things.
White-collar criminal defense attorney extraordinaire Sara Azari.
This sent a really loud and clear message just overall that white-collar crime is real crime and there's real punishment for it. And in Silicon Valley specifically, it sent the message that we're not going to allow innovation to shield shade. Where there's shade, there's accountability.
If law enforcement shows up at my door, am I obligated to comply?
I mean, this is not law and order. This is real life. Yeah. They're trained to come and make you speak. You don't know if you're a witness. You don't know if you're a subject. You don't know if you're a target. Wow. So you just very respectfully decline and say, look, I'm going to have my lawyer call you. Law enforcement is probably the only breed that carries a business card these days. Wow. Get their business card, call a criminal defense attorney, let them shield you and buffer you, and then find out whether you will speak or not. But speaking in that first encounter is a huge mistake, because you really don't know how they're viewing you. Durst skirts around the issue of potentially getting a deal from Lewin. And so it begs the question, why are you trying to cut a deal before you're charged if you're truly innocent?
Why do you think the prosecution called Kim Potter's patrol supervisor as a witness?
I think that was a horrible choice, Anderson, because this witness became the defense's use of force expert.
These men are charged with kidnapping as an underlying offense that is based on bias, that's based on race, right? And so we know this obviously this lynching was racially motivated. And so we need that conviction to sort of close the loop on this scenario.
Who do you think has made the more compelling case?
Anna, the prosecution. You know, they had two things to prove beyond a reasonable doubt: that this was planned and that he made a false report to the police department. And I think they've done a great job at doing that. The jury was seeing maybe some instances of abuse by both of these individuals against each other. Depp, although being probably the more credible witness in terms of his disposition, in terms of his story. But this trial, John, is so bad for the credibility of true domestic violence victims who are already struggling with being believed.